I think people should express themselves, but always in a peaceful and thoughtful manner. And I say that from a legitimate point of view, that if you want your voice to actually be heard, you want to do it in a way that gets more fans, that builds more support. And sometimes people can get a little too aggressive and it actually hurts the cause that they're trying to promote. So doing things that are peaceful, organizing their voice and rallying around an issue, I think is fundamental value that needs to be enhanced, not just protected, it should be championed. So I love that energy and love that flavor. And if it's not happening on the UC Berkeley campus with all these fee and tuition increases, I mean, we're in serious trouble. So I'm encouraging. But when people start locking themselves in and denying other people access that are innocent in terms of the debate, and when people sort of incite behavior that can actually start tipping and losing support, that's when I just want to pause and say, hey guys, you don't need to go this far. We hear you loudly and clearly. When the protests go too far, absolutely not. Then you lose the message. But if you hear that 3,000 or 4,000 people showed up on the campus and there was eloquence and people were organized and passionate and they had a key message, you sure as heck pay attention to that. If you hear there was violence and 75 people were arrested and 13 people were injured, then that's what I'm focused on, that's what my staff's focused on, and that gets lost. The message gets lost in that, and it actually works against the purpose and the impetus for the protest. But it's not just sharing a protest voice, it's sharing a practical solution as well, which is also, I think, the more challenging part. And so I always encourage to have those voices as well. Here's what we want to do, as opposed to just saying what we don't want to see happen. The UC system is a public system, and the public needs to demonstrate that commitment by having legislative leaders and executive leaders that demonstrate that commitment by financing and funding it, and by supporting it, directly and indirectly, by spending time, not just spending money, to support the institution. So it's just vital to the fate and future of the state. I don't want to see it privatized more than anyone else. That's why I'm not going to support more of these cuts, and that's why I'm not going to support these fee increases. So you have to deal with the cards that are dealt. I mean, there are certain realities you have to also recognize. What specifically would you do instead of cutting higher ed by $1.4 billion? Where do you specifically want to make the cuts? And that's the problem. And I'll tell you, had it not been for the intense, proactive engagement of the students, chances are there would have been another tuition increase this year. That was off the table because of the reaction of the last few years to the previous tuition increases. So the students' voice has already been heard loudly.